Since their introduction in 1991, our contribution count circles have become firmly established as a way of life within the Unipark group of companies. This supremely versatile and simple concept has proved to be the enabling mechanism that delivers continuous improvement at the cutting edge of the business and has saved UGC several £million, besides countless improvements to customer satisfaction and reductions in waste and cost. The advent of continuous improvement breakthrough events has given rise to a new wave of OCC Circles, which often spring up as part of the 30-day follow-up program to cement and consolidate breakthrough weeks. Currently, participation in Circle activity is spread through every division of UGC and is running as high as 80% among all employees at Premier.
Right, well done. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, John.
In order to encourage and sustain the use of Circles across the whole of the group and amongst its stakeholders, a conference was held in Unipark U, the corporate university, on the 18th of June 1996. About 140 OCC facilitators and champions took part in the one-day event. The conference organisers, a cross-divisional OCC circle, were particularly keen to ensure all delegates were presented with a challenging but enjoyable event that would renew their motivation and commitment to OCC circles, show how circles fit in with UGC's overall business drive, and encourage the increased use of creative problem-solving the Unipark way as the prime methodology for circle participants. John Neal set the tone for the day when he defined the objectives for the conference and the challenge that OCC circles present to UGC's future.
Now, what I'd like you to do is to keep some ideas in mind as we progress through today's conference. The first thing is to think about how we can substantially increase the breadth and the depth of circle activity, not only OCC circles but stakeholder circles. The second is to see how we can ensure that we access the best practice thinking and at the same time ensure that we develop a standardized way of doing things throughout our Unipark group of companies. It's really important to combine the ability to invent new things with a standardized way of doing things, because increasingly we want to spread learning. We want people across our operating companies to work with each other. If you have to spend the first day learning to speak a common language or actually learning to use different processes, an awful lot of waste takes place. So it's important that we start to find a standardized way of doing things. We do it the Unipark way. The third thing is to think about setting very demanding targets for circle activity in a way which encourages the appropriate kind of circle formation and discourages a counterproductive numbers game. We need, however, to have a lot more circles operating across the company. The fourth is to consider how we create an environment of constructive competition between companies and between divisions by the use, for example, of league tables. The purpose here is to ensure that the best practice companies, departments or teams are identified and that they become the source of help and advice for others. Next, I'd like you to think about the way in which we should use information technology to capture and report on the spread of learning, as well as the most appropriate highly visual management and reporting systems for use in the workplace. And finally, we must understand the awesome power of information technology and the pace at which it is advancing, because if we can understand that, then we will be able to exploit it.
David Nicholas then spoke about the huge difference that OCC circles were making to Unipark Industries in their drive to become world-class.
It's no longer good enough to allow 10-0 or Kaizen to work in isolation, highlighting problems and then solving them through individual OCC circles. We have to be part of a truly efficient supplier chain with consistently high standards, and that means continuous improvement. I hope you can see how the three programs of 10-0, Kaizen and OCC circles mesh together to allow consistency of change and improvement across the whole business. 10 to 0 and Kaizen, supported by OCC, and are the tools and techniques that will enable us to implement world-class systems. When teams work across functions to solve problems, OCC circles give them the confidence to go for it. Because through the use of a circle, change can be fun and can be achieved quickly and cost-effectively.
After this thought-provoking address, delegates broke into groups led by their divisional champions to discuss issues and write action plans. Premier's Dave Robertson next told the audience about his experience in leading the contribution circle R3ID, which looked at the problem of end plates being wrongly fitted to exhaust bodies being rolled on the Swiss roller machine. After numerous tries, the circle finally hit on a paint pen, which automatically marks the right end of the can.
This one actually came off last night, and we know that is the end for the embossed plate. It was a team idea. It was just sitting together, picking each other's brains. We'll never have the perfect cell, even following a Kaizen. There will always be things to carry on with. Some of the things may be part of the 30-day plan for following up the event, or perhaps just ideas that came out during the event. They're a good way of tackling either of these and making a difference to your working conditions and environment and your standard of work.
Alan Golightly from Tungsten Batteries then reported his experience of working in a stakeholder circle to tackle a 10 to 0 issue.
Once the Batman stakeholder circle was formed, things began to change almost immediately. This was mainly because the problem solving was coming from both ends. The impact of the circle had the effect of improving our 10 to 0 rating to 5. And even though the circle was shortly to come to an end, the drive for greater efficiency had really only just begun. What Batman had done was to make it unstoppable. Thanks to OCC stakeholder circles and the support they have given the 10 to 0 program, Tungsten Batteries are now the current Unipart Supplier of the Year for 1995. An accolade we receive with thanks, and one we do not intend to let go of easily.
DCM's Mike Varnum was another enthusiastic advocate for the creative problem-solving technique.
My challenge to all of you as champions, facilitators and prospective circle members is to make sure that creative problem solving is used in all circles. As a result of that, I'm confident that we will no longer need to cancel circles. We will ensure that circles are completed much more quickly, and also the results are more effective and enduring than we've seen to date.
Simon Jones from UIT explained his role as an OCC facilitator.
A facilitator is a jack of all trades, but most importantly a master of them all. A mentor, a catalyst, an administrator, a coach, an assistant, a guru, a guide, an observer. There's two sides to this role. There's the reactive side, where I provide support and encouragement to those who come to me for help and guidance in setting up OCCs. And perhaps more importantly, there is the proactive side, where I look for areas where there is need for improvement and encourage individuals to start up an OCC circle. The facilitator has an important role by motivating, educating, coaching, communicating, and ensuring that those who make a difference by making their contribution count get the recognition they deserve.
UI's Alan Killam used the oil slickers circle as an illustration of how using the creative problem-solving model plus his own active facilitation added value to the circle.
You, the facilitator, can play a crucial role in helping your circles succeed. By actively facilitating meetings, you can guide and encourage the members to hopefully a successful conclusion.
It benefited us to have an active facilitator in the fact that we went off course on a few occasions, which you do on in any meeting, and Alan was always there to pull us back onto course, or the facilitator to pull us back onto course and to get us on the right track again.
Facilitator made sure everybody had their say by delegating, by asking people when there was an issue that was obviously relevant to the tasks and roles that a certain member might do. He would stop everyone and bring that person in so that everybody was contributing in their chosen field of excellence. The facilitator always brought the circle back onto the relevant topics when we tended to drift off. by stopping us and making sure we were working towards the U problem-solving methods, so we didn't get too far removed from the problem at any time.
Some of you may think that being a facilitator is a chore, but like all chores, there are two choices. You can either do the minimum required, feel unhappy about it, and this will reflect badly on your professionalism, or you can take the bull by the horns and make the most of what can be a very rewarding experience.
After lunch and a demonstration of creative problem-solving software in the leading edge, delegates had a hands-on session using CPS techniques themselves. Time Manager International Director Mike Pegg then spoke about how to build super teams.
There are many models for building a superb team. Here's one that I'm just going to follow today. Yeah, build on people's strengths. People develop, they don't change. If you want Gazza in your team, have him playing football, not teaching a course in social skills. You know, for the Beatles, Brian Epstein said, how can I get them to sing better and write songs better? He didn't say you can't dance or send Ringo to dancing lessons. Get the right people there. If Fred in finance is brilliant at contributing with a computer and financial things, fine. But don't send him to a sort of interpersonal skills course for 20 years to try and show feelings. It might not help. You really got to use people where they can make the most impact for the team. That's the crucial thing. Set specific goals, give each other support, do superb work, achieve success, and start again. And I'll go through these.
Late in the afternoon, delegates again broke into discussion groups to prepare their action plans, before reconvening to be briefed on how to cascade what they'd learnt to their colleagues back in the workplace. So, what was the overall verdict on the day?
I think today's been a very worthwhile exercise in a wake-up call again for OCC, and to re-establish that OCC is an integral part of the programmes within Unipart and not just an addition to everything that we do.
We want OCC to become part of the way we do things inside UI, but therefore it has to be part of the way that we improve the business. So we're going to incorporate this in our corporate planning process, our whole business planning process, and involve absolutely everybody in the company.
I think the main thing was focus. You know, if you've got an aim for something, you know, to go for it, and it's amazing what you can achieve really if you actually concentrate on going for one thing.
I have come across quality circles before, but in fact that hasn't worked in practice. I believe that OCC's is a much more complete approach, and I'm sure it'll work very well.
I thought I knew it all. Well, not all of it, but I thought I knew most of it, and I've learned quite a lot today. A lot more than what I imagined.
The challenge is that everybody will have taken part in an OCC circle within the next year.
It's clear that OCC circles are going to be the very essence of UGC's continuous improvement philosophy, a challenging, satisfying way of applying personal creativity and ingenuity to improve the success of the business and all its stakeholders.
The Circle program relies on your personal energy, on your creativity, and on your leadership for it to work. You own this program. You've developed it into an enormously successful program, one which other companies all over the world now are coming to examine because they're so impressed with what you've achieved. So please take the responsibility to continue to develop it. Please take the leadership of the program, because remember, as the owners of the program, it's up to you to set the challenges as to what you want to do, and not to wait for your managing directors to tell you what you must do. It's up to you to provide the leadership, and up to us as the management to create the framework, the atmosphere, the spirit within which you can get on and continue to lead. I'm quite convinced, and I know many of you are, that the Circle program makes a huge contribution to creating the Unipart spirit. This spirit is genuinely admired and respected across the political spectrum and across the business spectrum in the United Kingdom. Because when people come here and they see Unipart and they meet our people and see what you are achieving on the ground, they seem to be genuinely very impressed with it and able to sense the spirit of Unipart. Somebody said to me, it's almost tangible. I think I can feel it.
brilliant day. I feel revitalised. I feel like the day has given me a lot of vummer for OCCs, and I feel ready to go out and OCC the world.